Have some updates on the Trayvon Martin story. And, you know, yesterday when we covered this story, we were very, very suspicious and skeptical of the police department investigating the case because it didn't seem like they were alarmed by the fact that a 17-year-old boy who weighs 140 pounds was shot and killed by someone who's 26 years old or 28 years old. There are conflicting reports, and was armed, okay, shot in the chest. So, now it turns out that more witnesses are talking to ABC News and to other media outlets, and they are confirming that they are also skeptical of the way the police have handled the situation thus far. So I'll give you some exact examples. After the shooting, a source inside the police department told ABC News that a narcotics detective and not a homicide detective first approached Zimmerman, the shooter.
Okay, now, if you just have that, you might say, hey, you're nitpicking, so the wrong detective showed up. That isn't the main problem. The main problem is what they did when they did show up. Now, look at the assumptions when they go in. Assumption is, white guy's right, who had the gun. The dead kid, who weighs 140 pounds, 17 years old, got shot in the chest, is wrong, okay? So now, here comes a really bad part.
The detective peppered Zimmerman with questions rather than allow Zimmerman to tell his story. Questions can lead a witness, the source said. And this is someone within the police department.
Saying, hey, you know what, like, maybe you might want to answer this way, like, that might help your self-defense case. Now, we're not saying that they went that far, but it's not the right way to approach it. And again, you might be thinking, well, you don't know that it was just an honest mistake or they did it on purpose to help him, right? Well, the last piece of the puzzle, I think, helps solve that.
Another officer corrected a witness after she told him she heard the teen cry for help. The officer told the witness, a longtime teacher, it was Zimmerman who cried for help, said the witness.
That's it. There it is. And to me, that was exactly indicative of what's wrong with the police in this entire investigation. They come in, they're like, okay, the white guy who shot the poor kid, well, he must be to have a squeaky clean record. And who cried for help? Oh, the witness is telling me the kid cried for help before he got shot. Because Zimmerman's whole defense is, I was under attack. Now, he's the one that called 911. 911 told him, do not pursue him. And by the way, we don't even know if he's suspicious. Zimmerman made up that he was suspicious. Turns out, of course, he wasn't suspicious. The only reason Zimmerman thought that, apparently, is because he's black. Right? He wasn't armed. He had Skittles in his pocket. Nothing wrong. He was going to his dad's place in the gated community. So now the cop comes and tells the witness, no, you didn't hear the kid ask for help. You heard Zimmerman ask for help. No, end of this. That's it. No, the cops, at least some of them in this investigation, and I don't care if people aren't willing to say it. My job is to say the obvious. They're racist. If it was the role reversals we've said all along, you think, I mean, come on, look at all this stuff. If a black teenager had shot a 28-year-old white guy, you think the cop comes in, his automatic assumption is, teenager is squeaky clean, and it must have been him that was crying for help, rather than the white guy who's got the bullet hole in his chest. No way they make that assumption. No way they lead the witnesses in that way. Come on, bounds of reason, and this is way outside the bounds of reason. Now, the state has taken over the case.
They have.
I think that we should also call for a federal investigation. You remember the Rodney King cops eventually went to a federal investigation because civil rights are involved. Civil rights here are involved as well because apparently the local police have very questionable racial motivations. So whether it's the state or the federal level, we've got to have some degree of justice here. It's been 2.5 weeks. They still haven't charged Zimmerman.
I know.
It's outrageous. They have not released any evidence leading to self-defense. In fact, the police chief has said over and over again, not that he has evidence of self-defense earlier, he said, we just don't have any evidence to say that it's not self-defense. And by the way, when black people shoot white people in this country, the cops always assume that they're innocent and say, well, we don't have any evidence that it wasn't self-defense. So probably the black guy was right in shooting the white guy and killing him. That's always what happens in this country, right? That's always the assumption. So many incredibly questionable assumptions by the cops here, at the very least. Zimmerman is nearly 240 pounds, okay?
Yes.
Now, I know I'm slightly obsessed about the weight topic, but because I'm near that weight, and so I have a perspective on this. If a 17-year-old kid that weighs 140 pounds comes up to me, it is inconceivable that kid is a threat. In-frickin-conceivable. unless he's the most amazing jiu-jitsu master of all time, okay? All you gotta do is push him down, right? You have a 100-pound advantage on him. This bitch Zimmerman, okay, sees the black kid and thinks, oh my God, I know it, he's a danger, calls 911, pursues him. And the kid says, hey, from what we can tell, from what we know, the witnesses and what the cops have said, the kid says, why are you following me? He's freaked out by this weirdo following him, right? He's inside a gated community. He's going to his dad's house. Why is this weirdo following him? Zimmerman then starts a conflict. One of the witnesses apparently hears the kid cry for help. How could Zimmerman possibly have been in enough danger to merit pulling out his gun and shooting the kid in the chest? I mean, even if that scenario were true, which it isn't remotely true, it isn't even 1% true, he would have to be the world's biggest bitch that he was getting his ass absolutely obliterated by a kid who was 10 years his junior and 100 pounds lighter than him, and in a panic had to shoot the kid. Really? I mean, are you that pathetically weak and ridiculous that you go aggressively after a kid? He beats your ass so bad that you feel you got to shoot him? And that's the best case scenario, but that's not what happened. This guy is malicious through and through.
Even if the kid was attacking him, you cannot use lethal force in self-defense. Look, it has to be proportional self-defense. If I try to push you, if I push you or slap you, you can't pull out a gun and shoot me. If I pull out a gun first, you can. But that's not what happened. He didn't have a gun. He had Skittles and tea.
What he's saying is very true and makes the police position on this completely and utterly untenable. Because if you get pushed by someone, you're not allowed to shoot them in the head.
Right.
That is not self-defense. Self-defense has to be proportional. So in order for the police to actually believe Zimmerman's case that it's self-defense, they had to believe that that kid with his Skittles somehow presented a mortal threat to Zimmerman. It is inconceivable that they could have believed that. So when you put all this together, no, the cops are, I mean, certainly by all the evidence that we have from the outside, it appears that the cops are incredibly crooked and honestly incredibly racist.
Yeah. What up with you? On this next Dee-Talk, man, I just can't let it go because every time I say I'm going to stop doing Dee-Talk for a minute, something always pops up. We got this Trayvon Martin. I hope I said his name right. Stayed in Orlando. He was in the gated community. Well, you're going to see the story before I even say all this. But I'm going to say my insight on it and let people know how this ties into them killing Hebrew Israelites and getting away with it. Alright. Wouldn't you like to be a Jew too? Only if you're in the bloodline. Yeah. Alright, man, I'm gonna start this off with the Orlando shooting. You know what I'm saying? Trayvon Martin. He was 17, coming back from the store, had some Skittles and the Arizona in his pocket, and some dude who made himself basically neighborhood watch was walking around with a 9. Now, granted, you black people can't walk around with a 9 even if it's registered. If you ain't got a concealed license, if I walked around with my 380 and it was in a box and everything, they'd still harass me and be like, "Why you got this?" So, first of all, I don't see how that happened. But okay. Other than that, this black dude was 17. His stepdaddy stayed there. No, his stepmama, and he was coming back home, and the dude basically just tracked him down and hunted him down and shot him. Said that he was doing something, but he didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't even go to jail for it. So it's like an outrage. It's like this right here lets you know the Bible even talks about this. How they killed Jacob and killed Jacob's people. And nobody goes to jail and nobody gets in trouble for it because they're evil. And the governments and stuff in America does not care about black people dying. They want black people to die. They think it's cool. But when somebody white die, it's an outrage. It's a travesty. It's all kind of other thing. But when the black dude die, you have a couple white people that pick on the subject. But mainstream media, they ain't finna trip that much about it. They might run the story. Oh, little sad times for a minute, then they done with it. If they really cared, they'd be like, why is these police officers not arresting this dude? You know, what I don't get is people say police officers is here to help you, but when something big happen, they're nowhere to be found. Where they was at when this kid got killed? Why they ain't doing nothing after the kid got killed? You know? This right here is a prime example of them killing us. It's a prime example of them killing Hebrew Israelites. That's the goal, that's the plan, they're doing what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And people say, oh, y'all free. I guess that's free, right? Free is getting stereotyped. Free is getting shot for no reason. Free is getting harassed. Free is getting put in jail for billions of years. Free is getting discriminated on. Free is, man, I guess that's what people call free. You know, and I'm not racist. I'm far from racist. Far from it. So when is everybody else going to get far from racism? And people say that black folks need to change. Black folks change. We not that racist like you think we are. You know what I'm saying? We in the world, we messing with people, we blend in more. We're more docile now. You know, so people is way less racist than they ever been. But the point is, when is y'all gonna get unracist? When is Esau's bloodline gonna get unracist? When y'all gonna start liking Jacob? Never. And I understand it. I understand it. If don't no other black person understand it, I do. So I know what y'all want to do. I know what the plan is. Your plan is to kill us. But all I can say is me personally, I'm not going down like a weenie. You're not just going to come just take me. You might as well just fill me up with bullets before you even come. Because I'm worshiping the Most High, homie. I'm not going to no camps. I'm not getting chipped up. I'm not worshiping Lucifer or any of his false deities. So I'm just wanted to talk about the Trayvon Martin story, you know. And this is the other cold part. Nobody ever goes to jail for the crimes that happen to black people. The dude didn't go to jail for shooting that 17-year-old. And all the deaths that happened during slavery times, and they was just lynching us in public. Nobody went to jail for that either. We don't get retribution. We don't get payback. They killed us off and said forget us. And now we just walk around in America not even knowing who we really are, not even caring. You know what I'm saying? We got done so bad for so long. People in America don't even care. Black folks don't even care about your heritage. Don't care about who you are. Don't care about other black kids getting shot. I mean, just, you got to think about how docile black people didn't get. Just a couple of years ago when Rodney King went through his thing, they rioted in L.A. After that, it was a cease. You know, and it's like before then, you had black rap, which really told you to do something good about yourself and for yourself. And then as soon as that disappeared, well, people didn't riot no more. People didn't, you know what I'm saying? When all this rap came out with this, she licked me like a lollipop and all this other gay stuff, and it's all about money and it's all about bees, black folks stopped being smart. They got docile and didn't care no more. You know, and that's why rap music now really don't do nothing. That's why we ain't had an uprise. You know what I'm saying? They just thought that one dude getting done the way he did by them police officers. All them black people riot. But nowadays, stuff happen to black people all the time, and black people don't do nothing but just sit back and say, oh, man, it's messed up. Well, let me go light a blunt. Or let me go drink this drink. That's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't even care. They do not care. And that's what the government has done to us. They made us docile. They made us dumb. They made us just sit back and accept anything in this land where we was brought to against our will and made slaves and made fun of and killed. And our women was raped and our kids was killed. They do the same thing every day almost. There's nothing new under the sun. Why you think Esau keep killing Jacob still? Because they don't like us and never will. They'll always be our enemy, whether you like it or not. But, I mean, I think it's an outrage. But, like I said, this Babylon, what can you do, man? What can you do? Ta-da.